Hello, my sweet and witchy friends. It's SilentSigns from I Dream of Indie. Today we are taking a look at Cotton Reboot, a reimagining of the original SHMUP. This reboot comes with 3 modes of gameplay. You have the X68000 version of the game, which stays pretty true to the original. You also have the reboot version, which updates the graphics, the weapons, and overall gives it a bit of a facelift. And then you have a score attack mode, which you can set to 2 or 5 minutes. The main character of this series, Cotton, is motivated by one thing and one thing only, and that is candy. Well, maybe also a little bit of selfishness, but for the most part, it's those candies called willows. In both the reboot version and the X68000 version of this game, Cotton traverses through 7 different levels, defeating bosses and enemies alike in order to acquire her preferred sweet of choice. Cotton does have help from a little fairy named Silk. I totally see what they did there and I appreciate it. You can actually find and recruit other fairies along the way and have up to 6 to help you. If you start this game as I did by watching the tutorial, you might get a little overwhelmed with all of the information they provide you. The tutorial is not one that you can play, you just kind of have to read through it, and I'm definitely a learn by doing kind of gal, so once I actually started playing the game, it all made a lot more sense. Essentially, you have your main shot, as well as bombs, which you can upgrade by collecting additional bombs, and crystals, which you can shoot through to kind of give yourself a bit of a split shot, and the more you shoot at a particular crystal, it goes through some color changes, and if you collect those different colored crystals, you can level up your more powerful magic attacks. Crystals can also help give your score a boost, so do keep that in mind if you're going for a high score. There are also leaderboards, so that's helpful to know for someone with a competitive spirit. As far as difficulty goes, this game certainly has its challenges, though I would say it's quite approachable, even for the novice shoot-em-up, cute-em-up player like myself. The main reason for this would be, yes, you do have one-hit kills and there are lives, however, you have unlimited continues, so even if you're not the best player, you can still make it to the end of this game. That said, if you do like a challenge, there are difficulty settings, so you can up the craziness if you so choose. Bless you. I admire your commitment to pain. So what I'm trying to say is there is a little bit of something for everyone. If you like going for a high score, if you like an extreme challenge, or if you just like a fun little game to pass the time without too much stress, you will find that in Cotton. I'm not sure if you are familiar with this game or the series that it begins, but it did originally come out in Japan as an arcade game and was later released on some personal computer systems as well as consoles. This for me was my first encounter with the Cotton series, and I love it. I think it's so cute. I love witches and spooky things, and the whole setting of a haunted graveyard and forests and all of the dark themes is right up my alley, especially when paired with such a cute little main character. I've said recently that it is now midsummer, and for some reason I am full on ready for Halloween, and this just really scratched that itch for me. Personally, I really like the look of the reboot graphics. I think it looks fantastic. It's colorful and bright and easy to play. You get the crystals floating in air versus the X68000 version of the game where the crystals kind of sink to the ground. Your shots are weaker and you don't have those big beams like you do in the reboot version. Personally, I really like the fact that you get to see the original and the updated version of the game. Just, it's fun to compare and contrast and see what was and how it has been reimagined. I also really liked the new character art in the little cutscenes and tutorials, and I just thought overall that it has a really fun, vibrant look to it. It takes me back to the old arcade machines, but without looking too dated. Another fun touch is that you get the original version of the sound effects and sound design in the X68000 version, and then the updated versions in the reboot mode. Out of the gate, I will say that the sound effects were a little overpowering and I couldn't quite hear the soundtrack as well as I wanted to, but once I turned those sound effects down, I could hear what was a really fun and exciting soundtrack to accompany such a cute little game. For the most part, the soundtrack is really synthy and upbeat. You do have have some pretty rockin' tracks in some of the later levels, which I also really enjoyed. There is also voice acting, however, it is in Japanese, so if you do not speak Japanese, you're going to have to pay a little bit closer attention to the subtitles. Overall, this was a really fun introduction to the Cotton series for me. I do hope that they release some of the later games in the series as well, as I would definitely like to play more of these. It was fun to kind of just turn my brain off and shoot some tree goblins for a while, especially with the way the world's been over the past couple years. It's just nice to play a game that's fun and approachable, but could also have that replay value if you wanted to go for high scores and leaderboards and higher difficulties. You do also have other playable characters to unlock, so that's a little perk as well. So what do you think? Will you be shooting your way through Cotton for some willows? Let me know in the comments down below. Before I go, I just want to thank our indie warriors Mitchell Hall, Cavallo, Bunny, Bill Tikaz, Christian Cruz, Strict9, Rosie Syntax, Chris Jackson, Nathan Moore, Peach, Adriana Amato, CJR, Falco Lombardi, C. Coyle, Skeptism, Jen Rose, Jesse, and Julian Colbus. Thank you all so much for your support, and thank you for watching this video. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe down below so you don't miss any of our reviews or previews, and check out the description box for a bunch of other ways to support the channel. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you next time.